Hello everyone. Yes, I'm able to upload a video that isn't a month gap from the other videos, from any other video. Besides that, I thought this would be the appropriate time to express my opinion musically, but not movie-wise, but musically. And that is none other than From Zero. Like, this album has been rubbing me the wrong way lately. And I would get my critiques yet, but I thought this would be the appropriate time to rank all the band's albums, because I've been a fan of them for a while now. And let's start the ranking with Hybrid Theory, the album that is sandwiched between the 90s but right before 2001. And with 9/11 being such a big impact in the culture of movies and music, when you have something like Hybrid Theory, which came out right before but a little bit after the 90s, it's kind of an interesting part of history, that is. Well, in media, that is. I don't know about history in the 2000s besides outside media. But to keep it short, album is great. I know everyone talks about In the End, which is their most popular song. Yeah, I know Numb has more streams and all, but I think people know In the End more than Numb. But still, if I'll rank the album, Forgotten would be last place, By Myself, Runaway, With You, Pushing You Away, Points of Authority, Place for My Head, One Step Closer, Paper Cut, Crawling, and In the End. And that'll be my ranking. Now let's move on to the next album. Meteora, a solid follow-up to Hybrid Theory. Many would say that it is better than Hybrid Theory itself. But if you ask me that question, is it better than Hybrid Theory? Well, if you ask me that, back when I got into the band, I would have said yes. But the reason why I say Hybrid Theory is better than Meteora is because of one bad song. Pretty big shocker, though. One bad song already, and this bad song in this album will go to Nobody's Listening. The reason why is mainly because the rhythm with it has Chinese flutes and it has like the bit of the rapping. It's trying to be like more like a rap kind of direction, which I can appreciate them trying to be more unique and all, but still, it does not fit well. But hey, it's not the worst Linkin Park song of all, but it's still not really good. And as you expect, this will be in the last place of this album. And the rest will be Hit the Floor, number 10, Figured Out 09, and number is ironically at number 9, Easier to Run. Damn good song, but then again, there are some way better songs, but still, such a good song. Like I say, same thing about all the other songs in the first two albums, besides Nobody's Listening. Oh yeah, Don't Stay, number 7, From the Inside, number 6, Breaking the Habit, number 5. A little bit overrated, but still really good. Lying From You, I'm surprised that this song is slept on, because I genuinely love Lying From You. And the top 3, you obviously know, Somewhere Belong, Faint, Numb. And there you go. Ranking for Meteora. But after those first two albums, you ever anticipate, was there a certain point in time when Minutes to Midnight was announced and many people were anticipated? A lot it was. I'm pretty sure many thought so, until when it came out. Minutes to Midnight was a pretty big disappointment for me. Mainly because when I listened to what I've done and before listening to the entire album. The reason why I say that is because what I've done being Minutes to Midnight, first Minutes to Midnight song that I've listened to. And I remember thinking, this is actually really fire. Like, they actually cooked in this. I'm ready to see what they're going to have in the third album. And And as I listened to it, it was not as good as I thought it was going to be. But hey, I'm going to cut it some slack. I mean, there are a couple good songs. I mean, everyone knows Bleed It Out, Giving Up. But y'all are sleeping on what I argue to be the most underrated Linkin Park song of all time. And that award simply goes to No More Sorrow. And I love this song way too much, or more than the average person should be. And I'm just surprised that you guys, or anybody that is a fan of the band, that is a fan of this band, or even a fan of this album, have a lack of care in this song. I only know one person that liked the opening. I'm not gonna say any names, but still, I can't blame them, because in the beginning it had such a great build up, but once you get to the rest of the song, just great. Sure, it's not the best Linkin Park song of all time, but it is such a good but yet underrated song. Anyway, let's get to the ranking. So last place, Hands Held High, just genuinely terrible, like ungodly terrible. In Pieces, pretty bad as well. Yeah, well, mainly because most of the songs are just dull. Same thing as In Between. Even all the rest, I don't know what to say about this. It's also not good, but I mean, I wish this singing, not rap rock direction that they were trying to go for worked. I mean, I have seen it, or listened to it in Breaking the Habit, Lost, or My December, for as another example of pre Minutes to Midnight that are not necessarily rap rock to be exact, but still, I would. When I thought this direction that they were going for was going to be good, and being disappointed by it, just I don't know what to say. But although the little things give you away, it's kind of grew on me. But besides that, Shout of the Day, number 7, then Little Things Give You Away. It's an okay song, but another problem I have about Shout of the Day, leave it out. Well, specifically Shout of the Day. Well, pretty much all these songs. Well, not all of them, but like most of them, they go way too long. I want to say Little Things Give You Away is good, but if you look at the runtime, it is way too long. Same thing for you, Shout of the Day. Same thing for you In Between, In Pieces, and pretty much most of these songs. Like, you guys are not safe. Besides the ones on top. Right, besides that, Valentine's Day, pretty okay song. I used to like this a little bit, but now I kind of fell out of love for it. But still, pretty okay song. And number 4, No More Sorrow, most underrated song. Just said that earlier. And 3, Given Up. Just a fantastic song. Especially, I would say, is either... I would just say Chester's best performance in any song. I'll either give it to, but at the same time, I would either give it to maybe, What I've Done, Numb, and all, but still, having the longest scream, and, well, one of the longest screams is, still a pretty proud achievement. I mean, I have tried to do it, almost passed out multiple times, but besides that, Bleed It Out, catchy as hell. For such really dark lyrics, like Find a New Place to Hang This Noose. If you read those words, you would be kind of disturbed. But once you hear it in such a catchy tone, like, throw hand minutes in any line, throw up and let sun shine, let something use. But also turn that. Besides that, you get my point. Catchy as hell. Even with some pretty dark themes, it is still such a fun time, but without going way too off direction with the tone. And number 1, What I've Done. I think we all know this. All right, let's move on to the rest of the albums. So these are just the albums that I have very little care for. So this is just going to be a bit of a lightning round, starting with Thousand Suns. Very disappointing. I used to think this is the worst album of them all. But this is indeed a really bad album. So, but still not the worst. And all I gotta say is Burning in the Skies kind of grew on me, but then I didn't really care. While Iridescent from that Transformers movie, don't care about it. I kind of care, but don't care about it either. And The Catalyst, it was the most memorable of them all, which is a very low bar to pass because most of these songs are completely forgettable. And I find it very uncertain how political they got with one of the songs having a speech from a guy from the Soviet Union, which I just kind of found unsettling, how they just pretty much give you political lectures and why communism is the GOAT. And there you go. Fifth album, I think that was Living Things. Mediocre, just don't care. The techno thing they're going for, I mean, it didn't really change much, but it is at least better than Thousand Suns. And Burn It Down. And I'm gonna live with this thing, as this being my quote that I'll take to my grave, or not just take to my grave, that I'll just would say till the day I die, and that is, Burn It Down is the most overrated Linkin Park song of them all. I cannot really get into it. I don't really get the hype, or I kind of get the hype, but I mean, I did want to kind of get onto it, but it hasn't really left that much, not just much of an impact, but I just have a lack of caring for this song. All right, and Hunting Party, trying to be back to base, is a failed attempt of trying to be back to basics, which is trying to be the rap rock that once back in Hybrid Theory and Meteora, but in just a watered down, sparkling water, TV static kind of way, with being the most forgettable album of them all, and I would say is the worst album of the bunch, or the worst album from the entire band. And the most hated, most hated album of them all, One More Light, is still pretty bad. And you think I'm just going to be glazing the absolute crap out of One More Light just because this was the last album that Chester Bennington made before he decided to off himself? No. How about this? Just because someone died, I get you're trying to sympathize, or try to praise them and all, but do not praise people for making garbage stuff, even though it's a subjective thing, but usually pretty terrible stuff, and praise them for it just because they had a tragedy. Like for example, think of your least favorite artist. Imagine if that favorite artist, your least favorite artist, dies, and everyone praised him for it, but you still hate the dude. Or how about this? If Chester didn't die, you guys would not give two shits about One More Light, calling it an underrated masterpiece. And plus, these songs just sound like something that's made by Taylor Swift or Ed Sheeran. And that is going to be my lightning round. So let's move on to the conclusion / Emily, the new album. All right, my thoughts on From Zero. It's all right. Songs are all right. I mean, Two-Face is kind of. I mean, it does. It is close to the rap rock, or rock like feel. We're all familiar with in Linkin Park, but still, just kind of whatever. And my thoughts on Emily Armstrong being the new singer. The only thing to say about it is that's not really part of the topic, and she looks like an off-brand. She looks like a off-brand Billie Eilish with comparisons. I think pretty generic. Okay, besides that, I mean, credit, she is a great singer, but her screaming, nah. I don't know. She doesn't make it that. She doesn't make me think she's a singer and all. for Linkin Park, well, they're trying to resuscitate an already bursted Chester died. And Chester, the nail in the coffin for this band, by fusing the parts in a Frankenstein. This tells you to let Linkin Park and, die with, since no one can to a vocalist like Chester. If you can call it, and it seems they learn his lesson from in the end. Doesn't even matter how hard he tries to face, no matter how hard, in the end, doesn't even matter.